and welcome to Let's Kind of Maybe Play Animorphs Shattered Reality. I'm Zach.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Alec.
Brandon will be playing this for us, and he's excited.
I got this game out of morbid curiosity because I was a huge fan of the books as a kid, and honestly, this game isn't nearly as bad as the 2 out of 10 review scores you normally see on sites. It's just not particularly great, but it's amateurish. Besides this pretty decent CG opening.
I guess you would say it's pretty decent for a PS1 game, or?
For a game made by Scholastic.
Oh, okay.
Alright. So, we're Scholastic the developers? Did they somehow get a development team?
Info Games, I believe, developed this game.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
They also developed the other Animorphs games, which I believe includes the PC game Animorphs Know the Secret, which is a turn-based RPG that is heavily story-based, and it's actually quite good. It's actually much better than this game. Yeah, so basically, the narrator you're hearing here is the Elemist, an omnipresent spirit who, in the books, would come to the Animorphs and say that he's not going to intervene in their affairs, and then, of course, intervene in their affairs to help them not die. Because as he shows them in many visions, their fight is, it's not going to end well. But what actually is the Animorphs? Well, it's a team of, I would say, let's see. You see Jake, you saw Marco and Rachel there, we have Cassie, we have Tobias, and then we have Axe. And basically, the blue alien you see right there. And basically, the kids you saw there, one day, were coming home from the mall, and they decided to take a detour through a construction site, and aliens. And the alien said, so there's gonna be bad aliens coming, and I'm gonna have to... I'm dying, so I'm gonna need to, come up with something to help fight them. So he gives them a cube.
Do not disturb. That is the weirdest way I've seen of...
Yeah.
But, yeah, the bad guy aliens are the Yeerks. They're pretty much slug-like beings that you saw in the opening. What they do is they enter their host's ear, and they go to the brain, wrap around it, and then they take total control. They can even perfectly replicate your personality. They know all your memories. It's pretty much nearly impossible to tell who's being Yeerk controlled and who's not.
Yes, and they call the different people or aliens being controlled under the Yeerk control controllers. And anyway, you can select between any of the human characters of the team. I'm happy they don't have Tobias on here, since in the first book in the series he was trapped in his hawk morph.
Yeah,
so that's a neat choice. I'm going to go with Marco, as he's my favorite character in the series.
That's the thing about morphing. They can morph into any animal that they... What do they call it again? They press their fingers up against an animal and they sort of collect their...
They acquire it.
Yeah, acquire.
And when the animal is being acquired, it goes into like a sort of nauseated state, which prevents the animal from killing them. But it also is just what it does when they acquire it, and then they can morph that animal if they just think about becoming that animal and its instincts.
And it's
with that concept I just introduced, what kind of game do you think they would make out of Animorphs? That's right, a Mario platformer.
I was expecting a strategy RPG or a Pokemon game.
Yeah, honestly, a turn-based RPG sounds like a better idea for an Animorphs game.
Well, the PC version, not so much the Game Boy Color game.
The orb I just collected is our lives. We collect these coins, and yes, when you get 100, you get an extra life. I don't know why. I guess it's because, Visitor 3 Shattered Reality. But yeah, I guess that's why they why there's coins with the Animorph symbol on them. I don't even think they ever created a symbol for the Animorphs.
No, I don't think they ever did. And you think these guys would just make everything easier by morphing into a bird?
As Marco called them, we are the Animorphs, teens with a death wish. We can't hear it as we have the audio down to prevent no echo in the recording, but the characters actually do have their own little lines that they individually speak depending on what levels you have them in. And I found a secret area with a ton of extra lives.
Is it easy? Is it pretty easy to get extra lives in this game?
In the earlier levels, later on, not so much.
Oh, and I know how it's really hard to explain controls, but could you like maybe give like a small idea like how it is?
The game is analog stick control, but honestly, in some ways, the control pad controls can sometimes work better, even with when you have to platform in 3D. It's not that bad. It's just that when the game expects you to be precise in later levels, it's pretty miserable.
I would say so far you're doing pretty decently.
And yes, combat sections. What do the combat sections mean? It means hitting a button until they die, and then you move on.
How faithful is this to the book? I almost said the show, although there was a show of it too. Is there like a time limit to how long you could be in morph, and then if you stay too long in morph, you stay trapped?
I believe there's a time limit on how long you can battle those enemies. And they also, continuity-wise, have gotten all of the characters' morphs wrong. Marco actually morphs into a gorilla, and here, for some reason, he morphs into a rhino. Which he does at one point in the series, but that's, not his main morph.
I like that alien in the water there. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a weird detail. Like, there's nothing that really goes with that. It's just kind of there. Yeah, levels separate into different sections. And thankfully, yeah, when you complete a section, I believe when you go back to play a level, it starts you from the beginning of that section, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe not.
I swear Marco's almost running exactly that crash.
Yeah, that's what I just thought.
And yes, those morphing cubes I'm collecting are basically checkpoints.
Oh, okay.
And this is, of course, health.
Collect those random coins.
Oh boy, 3D platforming. Okay, now we can avoid the alien thing.
You should go down and acquire and see what it can do for you.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they ever did acquire any aliens in the like.
Yeah, I was curious.
I know that in the in Elfangor's book, the Andalite Chronicles, he does acquire some weird animals when he's trying to survive, but besides the kids themselves, no. I think they acquire maybe the Lyrins, which are these telepathic frogs. Don't ask. But,
I was actually going to say I think that's the only one to my recollection that they did acquire.
They've acquired Hork-Bajir.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, the Hork-Bajir are a race of peaceful. God damn it. The Hork-Bajir are basically like herbivore dinosaurs, but because of their design, which they look like velociraptors with spikes coming out of every part of their body, and because of that potential for combat, the Orcs going, we can use this, and so they turn them into basically their main kind of combat drones.
Speaking of the morph part of Animorphs, morphing is not supposed to be that painless and fast. In fact, generally...
Oh yeah, in this game it's just like, it's just like a spark appears and then all of a sudden they transform. Thank God! The spark appeared and all of a sudden they transform. In the book, no. They describe every gruesome detail of their organs shifting around, their eyes popping out, their backs like cracking into, overhead, like when they're turning like into horses and crap. So... It's pretty gruesome.
And they have to wear a skin-tight cloak.
On top of the books being very gory. Especially during their battle scenes.
Oh yeah, I remember like reading this one, I was like, jeez, and this is for kids?
Yeah.
I mean, I still enjoyed it for that reason, but...
I think that's why a lot of kids enjoyed it, because they're like, wait, this is in, the kids' library? Right next to Goosebumps, which Animorphs was competing with, but Goosebumps is pretty juvenile by comparison.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Even though I don't know much of Animorphs, I could very tell that Animorphs is.
Yeah, Animorphs gets pretty fucking dark.
What I was trying to get at is the Andalites start off as the peace, like the good guys that the Animorphs are waiting for to protect them, and the Urks are the bad guys. Well, later into the series, they find out that the Andalites pretty much don't care about Earth. They have their own problems off planet. So, they honestly become off as these warriors obsessed with pride and being very arrogant. While the Urks, while being these awful creatures that are taking over civilizations, are doing it because outside of the people that they control, they're basically slugs. They have no eyes. They can't see the world around them, and they can't smell. They can't really hear. They only really communicate by the same sort of the echolocation that bats do. So really, when they acquire when they become part of a human body, it sort of has this bonding connection to them. And the other thing that they introduce much later into the series is that the Urgs are also a very emotional species. They have relationships. They love each other. Andalites do, But of course, they're much more based on their roles and their their honor.
Axe, we have to blame you for everything, even though it's technically Elfangor's fault.
Yeah, yeah. What Zach's referencing there is the one of the major plot twists in the book that the character of Axe first narrates. But I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you probably already have some knowledge or interest in Animorphs, and good. I'm happy there's somebody out there that still remembers how great this series is and can see that it's good past its nostalgia.
How many people you want to bet actually don't remember this for the books, but the TV show?
Well, yeah, that there pretty much sums that up. Well,
Marco remembered the TV show.
good.
Like,
I mean, oh my
He
god.
just kills himself because he just thought about it.
it's a good thing he had so many lives from that secret area.
Yeah.
But I mean, like from the little I've seen of the show, it doesn't look that bad. Although some of the
But Zach, you've seen the episodes where the show is adapting books. There's episodes
Oh,
of that
yeah.
show where it does its own original plots, and they're terrible, and they're all like played for laughs. The show is not terrible. Like I said, when it's adapting the books, it's really good. But it ran for 2 seasons, and the second season doesn't adapt any of the books.
Oh.
Like literally, one of the episodes is just about the Animorphs deciding who they're going to take to prom.
Well, to be fair, didn't you say some of the books are also kind of stupid? Like the one where they go to Atlantis.
Oh, yeah.
Did that death also sum it up?
Stop distracting me with the terrible parts of this franchise.